Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your time zone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Ogbanje Joseph. Please subscribe to this channel, share, like, as well as drop a comment on the comment section. So, our lecture today is titled The Role of Inec in the conduct of free, fair, and credible election in Nigeria. The role of Inec in the conduct of free, fair, and credible elections in Nigeria. So the establishment of Inec marked, the sixth in the series of electoral management bodies in Nigeria. Okay, in Nigeria's quest for democracy. Now, previous electoral management bodies include, the Electoral Commission of Nigeria, ECN, the Federal Electoral Commission, FEC, the Federal Electoral Commission, FEDECO, and then the National Electoral Commission, NEC, as well as the last one, which is the National Electoral Commission of Nigeria, NECON. It is imperative, to note that the change in the nomenclature, was just to reflect the difference in administration and does not change the core responsibility of the electoral management body. Now, the election management body, that is EMB, is majorly concerned with election administration, which is the organization and conduct, of elections to elective offices. Now, according to Iwara 2010, the components of electoral election management body include the structure and process. Now, the structure connotes the bureaucracy that is set up to organize election, while the process has to do with the rules, procedures, etc. Okay, that governs the conduct of election. Now, let us look at the role of Inec in the conduct of election. Now, what is the role of Inec in the conduct of election? Now, the role of Inec can be compartmentalized into pre, during, and post-election processes. Pre, during, and post-election processes. Now, during the pre-election, what are the pre-election functions of Inec? Number one is sensitization of voters. Now, it is the function of Inec to educate and sensitize voters on the intricacies of casting their ballots. It is very important for Inec to do what is known as voter education. Now, how does Inec do that? Inec actually uses the media, and traditional means to actually reach out to the people, for the purpose of actually, letting them know the intricacies of participating in the electoral process. So it is the function of Inec, to get the people educated, to get the people sensitized, to mobilize the people for the election process. They will teach the people how they will participate in the voter registration. They will also, it is also their function to tell the people on how to cast their ballots, what they should do on the day of election, okay, and how they should actually, behave themselves during the process of election, and of course, how that election will be counted, how they will comport themselves in the process of counting, the election, the votes or the ballots. Okay, so that is number one. Number two, monitoring of political party primaries. Now, it is the function of INEC to ensure that political party primaries actually are conducted, you know, following the minimum standard. The minimum standard. Now, every political party that must actually organize primary election must invite the representative of INEC to witness and monitor the election process. or the party primaries. Okay, so that is number two. Number three, fixing of election dates. Now, one of the rules of Inec is to ensure that elections are fixed based on the based on the the provision of the electoral laws. Now, the election management body has as a responsibility to ensure that election dates are fixed. And when these election dates are fixed, they have the role to also enlighten the people, inform the people about the date and what is expected of the electorates during on that very day. Number four is training of ad hoc staff. The ad hoc staff that work with Inec, you know, are not the main staff of Inec. And so they are not conversant with the machines, they are not conversant with the processes and modalities of the conduct of election. And so Inec has as its responsibility to um, to to train these ad hoc staff that will be employed, to work with them on the day of election. The next one is accreditation of election monitors or observers. Yes, in order to actually see the monitors and observers so that they don't constitute a threat to the election process, INEC actually before the election screens all these, all these monitors and observers. Then the last pre-election function of INEC is distribution of voters card as well as registration of voters. It is a function of INEC to distribute voters card and of course register voters. Okay, all of these functions I've mentioned, they are the pre-election function of INEC. Now let us look at the functions of INEC during the election. Number one is timely distribution of election materials. Timely distribution of election materials. It is a function of INEC to ensure that considering the topography and the hydrology of the environment in which they are conducting election, it is their function to ensure that the election materials, actually get to those areas timely and securely as well. Okay, so that is actually number one. Number two, declaration of results. Now, this is actually the function of INEC during the election. Now, it is a function of INEC to actually declare election results. Now, it is not the political class that declares election results. It is the function of INEC, and it has to be done during the election. Okay. Then number three is sorting and collation of election results. Sorting and collation of election results. Now, that is actually another function of INEC during the election. Okay, now let us look at the functions of INEC, during the post-election process. That is the post-election functions of INEC. Number one is presentation of certificate of return. Now, after the election has been done and winners have been known, it is the function of INEC to ensure that they present certificate of return to the winners of that election. Okay, that is post-election function of INEC. Number two is that INEC actually, defends what it has carried out during the election, at the tribunal. So it is a function of INEC, to send, their legal team, to the election tribunal. Okay, so that is actually the function of INEC. Okay, and it is the post-election function of INEC to actually send representative, legal representative to actually represent them at the election tribunal, to defend what they have actually done during the election. That is number one. Number two is defending, defending their their activity at the court, at the law court. Of course, this is another function of INEC to ensure that what they have done during the election is properly defended by their legal team, at the court of law in case there is any candidate that is actually challenging, the function or what INEC has actually done during the election process. Thank you very much.